professional development. Now I would like to call Dr. Altaf Mudur, sir, HOD of Electrical Department, to illustrate our principles. Now I would like to call Dr. Sachin Reddy, sir, to illustrate our principles.
लिंक शेअर कर
I think చాలా చాలా something on this close edit में
Thank you, sir.
Now,
Now I'm going to request to our principal, sir, to illustrate our resource person. Thank you, sir. Now I am requesting Professor Neelam Panda Madam to illustrate Dr. Snehalata Naik, Dean and R&D Department of our college. Thank you, madam. Now I request to Dr. Ravi Shinde sir to illustrate duty amazing. Now I am requesting to Neelam ma'am. A day without prayer is a day without blessing, and a life without prayer is a life without power. Now I would like to call Mr. Tushar and Mr. Prayer. विश्वासते जे सत्य सुंदर सर्वथा ते सत्य सुंदर सर्वथा आजन्म त्याचा उनकी दे तुझे जले चेतना विश्वास हरवले आभाळ ज्यांचे हृदयांचा सोबती सापडे ना गाठ ज्यांना हृदयांचा सारथी हरवले आभाळ ज्यांचे हृदयांचा सोबती सापडे ना गाठ ज्यांना हृदयांचा सारथी साधना करती तुझी प्रार्थना करती तुझी जय नित्य समवासते जे सत्य सुंदर सर्वथा आजन्म व्यासा रे तुझे जले चेतना विश्वास जानवाया वला Thank you, Rajani. That's a beautiful song.
Now, I would like to request to our principal sir to felicitate our resource person, Dr. Qadi Sukuddin Sayyid Riyafat sir, Professor and HOD of EMPT, Dean R&D from BMIT Solapur.
Thank you, sir. Now I request to all the dignitaries for the writing of the dance. Writing of the dance is auspicious, ritual, symbolism, enlightenment, knowledge, and thank you, dignitaries.
Now, I am going to request to our dynamic principal sir to motivate our FDP.
Good morning, everyone. Warm welcome to all resource persons, chief guests, coordinators, and organizing team, participants from other colleges, from other states also, my college faculty members, teaching staff, all HODs, deans, my dear students. Today we are here to organize the workshop that is the faculty development program, which is of 2 days, 2 days faculty development program on research methodology. That is the program as per the norms of the board, as per the faculty enhancement, skill enhancement program that is conducted. We are here to conduct offline. Since from COVID 2020, COVID-19, there was a trend about online workshop. People are conducting today also now also they are going for online only. The habit has continued starting from COVID-19, habit of online. But you know, our college faculty that is R&D team, R&D team, Dr. Sreyalata, she has approached me and she planned for organizing instead of online, offline. It will be better if it is the online. There are a number of benefits to conduct the online. Let will try for that offline. May not come. But we tried, we got 48 participant registration from local as well as other state also. Successfully, we got good number of participants. The aim is to initiate the offline workshop, to put a habit of conducting offline workshop, to make an end of online. We tried and we came to here, we are here to conduct offline. There are the benefit, whatever the offline benefit is that all faculty members from various states or various cultures, various colleges, various different thinking, they will combine, meet together, they will share their views, resource person will come, they will present their idea. In this way, there will be no benefit of improving the skill or enhancement capability, knowledge, teaching capability, research capability in the for the participant like PG student, PhD student, and faculty members. And one the cross question I got while viewing the registration that I already completed the research methodology course. Why I should attend? Research methodology course is not. It is a word. It cannot be entered. Research methodology. What are the methods which is required to do the research, to carry out the research? Maybe PhD research or the academic research, whatever the carrying research day by day, tools and techniques will change. Today we got there are number of techniques like tools, AI tools, plagiarism tools. Previously there was no such tools. When the resource methodology keep on changes. Don't think that research methodology I completed the coursework of PhD, don't need of attending. Not like that. Learning never stops. Learning keep on growing. We need to update what the new technology, research methodology, what are the new method to carry out the research. Keeping in this point, we are conducting the research methodology workshop. So I request all participants to attend all the session and try to one another. Right.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Nowadays, online platform is very famous, but when we are learning, offline platform is better compared to online platform. When we that time we get a more knowledge from offline platform. Thank you, sir, once again. Now, I would like to call Dr. Rajmukhin Amit, sir, HOR Computer Science Department, to say about our college.
Yes, good morning to one and all present over here. It is a proud privilege to briefly give a small introduction or background of our college. Our college was started in the year 2006 under the aegis of Kai Sushila Gaikwad Bahut Deshia Sansthan with 6 UG, 2 PG and 2 diploma courses, committed to provide high quality education with fair, honest, courteous profession to our stakeholders under the able guidance of our chairman Ravindra D. Gaikwad and Honorable Secretary Anamita R. Gaikwad, who are the guiding spirit for all the activities at the campus. We at Pixie aims to provide students with expert teaching and learning, which is accomplished through various activities like industrial interaction, internship, and industry and expert guidance working in project in industry and academy. Until now, all Indian batches who have graduated with outstanding results and nearly all have been recruited in reputable companies. With this, I conclude the short briefing of our college. Thank you.
Thank you, Anil sir, for sharing the progress and development of our college. After listening you, I feel proud to be a part of it. Now, I am going to call Dr. Ravi Chikera, sir, Professor of Biomedical Department, to introduce our today's resource person, Dr. Khadi Sukhbati Syed Riyafat, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Myself, Dr. Chief for the ENTC department. I'm giving a brief introduction about the resource person, Dr. Karthik, who is the reactor. Sir has completed his diploma, BE, ME, and PhD ENTC engineering and is now working as a professor and head of department, ENTC engineering department, and was a dean in R&D. He is a postdoctoral fellow at USA working on IoT in health application. His area of interest is IoT, AI, and ML. He has published more than 110 papers in various journals, also published 11 books in the field of engineering. He got 33 patents, out of that 21 Indian publications, and granted patents, 2 South African grant patents, 2 Indian copyright patents, and 8 UK grant patents. He worked as a principal for Scopus conferences and journals, also worked as an editorial board member for various journals. He got 2 Best Research Award, Best Faculty Award, and appreciation letter from MOE's Innovation Cell, Government of India. He suggested 2 new approach as KK approach and KSK approach, which will be published soon. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Now it's the time to hand over the mic to our resource person, Dr. Riyafat.
I would like to thank principals and Asha sir, Kilani sir, all the faculties.
Invited to me, Dr. Sneha madam, to invite me as a resource person at the workshop for research methodology. So already sir told about me. My introduction is given by the sir. So the thing is here, my favorite topic is the research. So before 3 years, before lockdown, I don't know about the research. What is meaning of research? How to publish a paper? How to patent my work? So I don't know. So after 3 years, there was a drastic change. Uh, so that terms instead of 3 papers, because it is compulsory for us to publish a paper, 3 papers in a PhD work. So instead of that, no papers are placed from my. So now it is a drastic change. The change was 120 papers was published by my side. Then 23 patents I got from Indian, UK, and South African governments. So I'll start with my work. That is my area of interest. How to write the paper. That is a research methodology. I'll start with the research. The first question I want to ask, because what I see is that so everybody is in the corner. Everybody is dressed to formal. So with coats and all. Instead of that, I'll be informal. So my first question is how I looks like, right? Because I want to continue with my that work. Somebody will be says that, sir, yes, you are looking good. Somebody says, sir, no, it is not proper. What you are wearing it is not proper. So different terms are there. Maybe somebody will say that, sir, you are kamikaze. The new word was there, right? Kamikaze. So if we are dictionary that word or we are Google that word, we are not going to find that word, right? So we are going to say that we have researched that new word. Yes, it is the meaning of fabulous Kazi. So the word becomes fabulous Kazi. Right? So new word was researched by myself. So just now we can research that word. So the step, that is the first one. What is the meaning of research? So just we have researched that word fabulous Kazi. Right? How I can get? I'm going to analyze. I'm going to ask you how I am looking like. So depends upon that. Different persons are giving me the different opinions, and different. One person will be giving me the opinion as like you are going to look like a fabric. So that word we can call as a research. So that person will find the new way to be present his work. So research is nothing but creating a new thing. So creating a new thing, but it will be depends upon the present fabulous or present systems. Like fabulous, we are not going to create that word fabulous. Yes, Kasi, we are not going to create that word Kasi. So these two words are there, but we can combine these two words and we can create a new word. That's what's name is called as a fabulous Kasi. So we can call it as a research. So research is nothing but it is creating a new word or creating a new system, creating a new knowledge based on present knowledge, present equations, present theory, and that are present or that system is a present the all. So we can call that is the research. The presentation way are different ways are there. So somebody will be present by means of papers, somebody will be present by means of some book chapters, somebody will be present by means of some patents. So different ways are there for research presentation. Right. So research is nothing but the academic work. From knowing, we can create the new words, new systems from the known side. So we are going to create some projects. So project is also one type of research. Any project we are going to say. Either we are going to create a project, for example, IoT based healthcare, my postdoctorate topic was there. So I am going to work on IoT in healthcare. But healthcare, human healthcare, I am not going to consider. So because of that, that topic becomes my research topic for my postdoctorate. So I'm working on that healthcare. So research, so that is the research. So we are going to say that new concepts, new methodologies are going to develop. I had developed two methodologies. Earlier I told that I had developed two methodologies. One name is called as KK approach, that is a Kutubuddin Kaji. So that is short form becomes KK approach, where I use the human blood cells T cell concept. In human body, T cell and B cell, two cells are there. So I use that T cell concept for IoT security. So that is called as the KK approach for IoT security or KK approach for wireless sensor networks, IoT. Second approach is KSK approach. So again my name is there, Kutubuddin Sayyid Jagan Qazi. So that is the short form of KSK. So that second approach was there, where I use AI, artificial intelligence, IoT. From the AI, I make some decisions by means of ANN, by means of digital, that is the decision tree, and by means of K nearest neighbor approach, KNN. And depends upon that, I find some decisions, and that approach I will call it as a KSK approach. Once it will be published, one KK approach will publish in the month of June by IGI Global, and similarly KSK approach 6 papers are there in a queue by IGI Global. So it will be once it will be published, we can call it as a so KSK approach and KK approach becomes generalized afterwards. So methodology, whether we are going to say that IoT is not present, yes IoT is a present, AI is a present, yes already it is a present. So I combine these two methods, I create a new method, and I will call it as a research. So research is nothing but creation of the things from present knowledge, present methods, present systems. So we can call it as a research. So similarly, I asked the question that is how I was like, right? Somebody will say yes, good, bad, some different opinions are there. If I will tabulate that terms, whatever the research, whatever answer I am getting from your side, if I will tabulate that, I will call it as called as a research methodology method. It is called as a qualitative research. If I tabulate this, whatever the answer I am getting from your side, I am asking the question how I looks like. So somebody will say different opinions, everybody gives me the different opinion, right? If I will tabulate this, that research is called as a qualitative research. So qualitative research means we can survey from the group of persons, and that will be represented in the form of capital. So that concept was generally prepared in case of sociology, psychology, history. So these persons are doing the research. That research is called as a qualitative research. Secondly, whatever research I am getting, whatever the answer I am getting from your side, if I will represent that some mathematical equation, I will represent in the form of patterns. If it is represented in the form of patterns, then we can call that methodology as quantitative research. Whatever the answer I am getting from your side, firstly I will represent in the form of table. I will call it as a quantitative. If I am getting the answer, I will represent in the form of patterns, equations, I am getting, we can call it as a quantitative research. Generally, engineering candidates, number of engineering candidates are working on that quantitative research. Whatever the research we have performed or whatever research we have done, that is engineering candidates have done, we can call them as a quantitative research. And next method that is of research is it is experimental research. So experimental research, it is a combination of both qualitative and quantitative. Then finally depends upon that we can make some decisions. Whatever the qualitative research was there, whatever the representation was there, so we can make some decisions depends upon that. So we call it as a experimental research. For example, I have created a website. For example, consider this. I have created a website. Number of persons are visiting the website. Qualitative. Depends upon that. I will analyze that website research. We can call it as a quantitative. And after that, whatever the improvement I had done in that website, so depends upon requirements of the customer, it depends upon the requirement of the reviewers or viewers. If I have made some experimentation, I have made some changes, we can call it as a experimental research. So generally, as an engineering candidate, we had done this experimental research. But beside of that, we are not going to call it as experimental research. If suppose I am going to work on artificial neural network. So in ANN, we are require some training data with data set. We require some testing data set. Depends upon training data set, we have adjusted epochs of certain sets where we are going to adjust it to get the better result. So whether it is a qualitative or whether it is a quantitative, we are going to adjust it to get a better result. To better result, yes, we are going to say that if I am going to change my result, I am going to improve my result. Yes, definitely I am going to call it as a experimental result instead of calling it as a quantitative result. Okay, my topic specifically I am going to speak on the topic how to write a paper because that is my favorite topic. As every day, every week, that is my target from my side. Every week I have submitted one paper to the IGI program. So I still now for IGI program I have submitted near about 25 papers. Last from 1 month I have been taking some rest. So instead of that I have submitted 25. Out of that 5 are already published. Then remaining 20 are in queue, maybe published in the month of June to the October. So that is my favorite topic, how to write a research paper. So research paper writing demonstrate that what is the knowledge I have. What is the knowledge I have. Secondly, what the use of that knowledge, how I am going to represent that knowledge to the society. If suppose I am going to say that the KK approach was there, right? If nobody will be know about KK approach, if nobody is going to know about read about that KK approach, then just I am going to say that yes, it is a KK approach was there. So don't know, anybody don't know about that. So what is it is necessary? Whenever I am having the knowledge, whenever I am having the topic, that must be required to be published to the global to becomes globalized. Otherwise, nobody will know about KK approach. Just I am going to say that there is a KK approach. Right? Once you are getting that knowledge that one KK approach was there, one KSK approach was there. From where you are getting, right? If I am not going to speak anybody else, I am not going to patentize this, I am not going to publish that work, then how anybody will know about the what is the meaning of KK approach and what is the meaning of KSK approach? So nobody will know about that. So to make that globalize, to make that generalize, we require to write the paper. So for that purpose, we require to write the paper. So the stages of research paper writing. The first stage is a pre-writing. So pre-writing means we are going to see the nightmare and forgetting in the morning, right? In the night we are going to find different dreams, right? And that dreams we are not going to write anywhere else. And if till the morning I'll remember that, but at the evening time I'm not waiting to remember that terms, right? So if I'll write down that dreams, then we can call it as a yes. That will be remembered for me a lot longer time. Yes. So the first stage is a pre-writing. Pre-writing means think about the topic, which topic I require to work, on what topic I require to work, how to be work. Because just I am going to say that yes, I am going to cross that Newton's theorem. Newton's theory, whatever the Newton says 3 laws. If I require to cross these 3 laws, just I am going to say. But for that, I must require to know what is the Newton's law, right? So that must be required from my side. So I must think about that. What I require to do, that must be right on the simple paper, right? Firstly, secondly, narrate down the topic. To narrow down the topic, I require to study the topic. I require to find different ways. The different ways are there to cross the Newton's law. The ways are wherever the water level is there, that water level, different gravitational effect was there. We are not going to call it as 9.81. At water level, it is a different one. So I require to study for that. So that study, I also require to narrate about the topic. Then read the topic. Different topics are published. Different topics are published on the different ways. Every author says his way. So number of ways are there from the author. If I am going to speak about IoT in healthcare, my topic is generalized topic. I am going to speak about the IoT in healthcare. If we Googleize that topic, IoT in healthcare, we find number of papers. Right? My papers are near about we are going to find near about 80 papers from my side on IoT in healthcare. on different ways. So, whatever point I require to go for the specified topic. I'm not going to say that IoT in healthcare is every topic I'm going to study. No, it is not possible for me. If we can Googleize any word, there are number of research papers, number of different ways are going to be presented. So, what required to be studied from my side? What is I'm going to say? I'm going to start with my healthcare topic with some security. So I'll start with some security analysis. Then I'm going with some data collection analysis. That is, I must require how to collect the data in IoT. Then how to I will secure my data. Then nextly, how to store my data, and nextly, how to manage that data. So I require to study each and every step. So reading of the topic or reading of the required contents are important while pre-writing the any contents. Means pre-writing, we are going to say that if I am going to write the paper, then we went on the Google, we go on the Google is that yeah, we can select one paper, then we translate that paper in our language, and we are going to say that my paper is ready. Right. So within 2 weeks or within one day, within 2 days, my paper was research paper is ready. Right. So it is not a research. We are going to call it as a copycat. So whatever the contents are there, I have copied that in my paper. Just I check that whether similarity index is less or not. Similarity index will be checked. Then I am going to say that if similarity index is below 10%, yes, I have published my research paper. So that is not a research work. So what is the research work? Research work must be started right that initial terms. What is my then secondly, I must narrate the topic. I must read the contents whatever I require. And lastly, organize the topic. How to organize? Healthcare, yes, no problem is there. Number of papers are there. Then from healthcare, which type of healthcare I am going to apply? Whether I am going to apply healthcare for kidney, for hepatitis, or for vehicle health, for building health, for the structural health, to whom I am going to apply. So I must organize the topic about which specific concern I am going to apply my knowledge. So that is called as the pre-writing of the topic. So initially, before completion of my topic, I must write the topic in my mind or on a paper, and we can call this as a pre-writing. So pre-writing of the topic is required. Next step is writing. So, writing of the paper. Next step becomes writing of the paper. So we will start with the writing of the paper. That is, some people like to start their research paper with a title and introduction. So, as already I told, some people are decided that yes, I am going to write the paper on IoT in healthcare. Yes, they on Google. I find 2 to 3 papers. I will copy that paper. So one paragraph from the first paper, second paragraph from the second paper, third paragraph from the third paper. Then I becomes manage that paper's contents and find that yes, its similarity index becomes 10%. So that is my paper, research paper. So what is necessary from my side? While writing, we must manage the paper. So some people are started from, as I told, some people are started from title. Somebody has started from title because we say that the title is important. Some people are started from introduction. I had decided to work on KK approach. No problem was there, right? Suppose my approach was there, KK approach. I had decided to work on the KK approach. But for that, I'm not going to say my title becomes KK approach because I must require to know that where KK approach being applicable. I already submitted 2 papers. One is KK approach for IoT and KK approach for wireless sensor networks. So two things are different, but looking to be same. Wireless sensor network and IoT both are looking to be same. But beside of that, 2 different approaches are there. But this approach name becomes KK approach. So for that purpose, I started to write, instead of writing my title, I started to write from introduction set. So firstly, if I write down the introduction, and then after finalize my introduction, I'll write my topic title. Yes, it is one way. And second way is, already I told, it is start with the topic title and then goes to the introduction. So another page to develop the point, then goes to the title and then goes to the introduction. Revision. Once I had written that paper, so it is necessary that I must read that paper. So once we completed the paper, it is not necessary that my paper becomes perfect one. So paper must be those few steps. We must follow the few steps while presenting the paper. The step is I must read whatever I had written in that paper. So in the written case, whatever I had read, I had find I had written 10 pages, I had written the 20 pages, I had written the 30 pages paper. Yes, no problem was there. But it is necessary that that paper must be read by ourselves. If we are not going to understand my paper itself, whatever I had written, then how we are going to say that anybody will be I can understand that concept? अगर मुझे मेरा कंसेप्ट मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा मैं क्या लिखा हूँ तो दूसरों को क्या पता चलेगा nobody will understand that concept so it is necessary that after completion of paper I must rewrite my paper so after rewriting I will check what are the weaknesses present in my paper wait firstly I must find my weaknesses because last month one conference was there in Chennai that conference is conducted by the so that conference without intention it is different, but they require that maximum page size are 6 pages. In a 6 pages, what we are going to represent? Right? If I ask the question, if there are 6 pages, then 2 pages are for our references, then 1 page for abstract, keyword, and title. So 3 pages already built there. Then 1 page for our introduction. We are not going to say that suppose there is no literature review, we can skip that literature review. Then 1 page, minimum 1 page is required to represent our methodology. Then where is the result? Where to represent that result? So in that cases where limitations are there, so definitely we must rewrite the paper. So we must find what are the weaknesses in my paper. So first we find the weaknesses. If I want to say that I am unable to represent my result, so trying to represent that result in the form of images. So because of that my contents are becomes weak. So find the weaknesses of the paper. Then secondly, find the mistakes. I am going to write the paper related to the Internet of Things, IoT, right? But beside of that, in my paper, all the things are related to the artificial intelligence. Whether it is related, it is not related, right? I am going to relate the topic IoT, but whatever the paper I have written, it is related to the AI. Why? I have copied some concept, copied some things from the internet. So because of that, my paper becomes completely in vain. So my work is completely in vain. So what is required? I must find my weaknesses. What is the weaknesses in the paper? Not my weaknesses. What are the weaknesses of my paper? We require to find. That is whether paper is too lengthy. Like already I told that conference required only 6 pages. And whatever the paper I had written, जो भी पेपर मैं लिखता हूँ वो पेपर मिनिमम मैंने 20 पेजेस साइज का रहता है so 20 pages are not requirement of that journal right so because of that I must find what are the weaknesses from my side where to reduce that how to reduce that is the requirement so I find my mistakes how to reduce where to reduce and which contents I require to skip so it requires to find so whether whatever the details I have given they are too much details or whatever the details I have given, these are the too less details. So depends upon that. If I am going to say that I am going to write the paper for IGI Global, then the paper size becomes minimum 20 pages. So the minimum 20 pages size becomes required and font size becomes 10 to 11. So definitely we require number of word size becomes up to the 10,000 word size. So 10,000 word size is there. Then my contents if I am going to say that just for one paragraph from IoT, one paragraph from for healthcare, then it is not sufficient. So the contents are too less. Right. So I require to maintain the balance depends upon the requirement. Whatever the requirement is there. So requirement as per the journal, requirement as per where I am going to publish that paper. So depends upon that and requirement what I require to speak about my paper. What I am going to explain inside the paper. So these are required while we are going to write the paper. So we find the mistakes, then organize the structure of the paper. So structure of the paper we require to organize. So some structure was there, balance structure was there for review paper, but depends upon journal, the structure is also going to change. We are not going to say that same journal that is the same structure is applicable to the every chapter. It is not possible. If I were to speak about IEEE conference or IEEE journals, yes, it is requires two columns. Font size is that one, reduced to font size. If I am going to speak about the honor journal, it requires single column. Right, so different structures are there, different organizing concepts are there. Somebody will call it as an introduction, somebody is called as a background, somebody is called as a keyword, somebody is called as an index terms. So depends upon that, I require to structureize my paper. So that is the requirement in requirement of the paper. We require to analyze while revising the paper. Once I have completed, but I require to revise that paper as per my requirement. The next one is writing mistakes. So number of writing mistakes we are done. That is started with the spelling, grammar. So grammatical mistakes. Grammatical mistakes are there. For the grammatical mistakes recovery, we are going to use the Grammarly. Online it is available for every user. Grammarly we are going to use to check my grammar. Punctuations, whatever I will use the punctuations. Then wherever it will be required to be capitalized. If I am going to say that IoT is there, so I am not going to write I capital, O capital and T capital because O is not required to be capital. What is the capitalization required? I is a capital, O becomes small and T becomes capital. So we require to check the capitalization. Whether I am going to say that IoT is written as I capital, O small, T small. If it is small, then nobody will understand what is the meaning of that IoT. They will be read as lot. Instead of IoT, it will be read as a lot. So while reading, it will be mistake. Wait, means I am not going to present my word properly. So for that purpose, I must check in word choice. Whatever the word choice we require, I am not going to use to a standard or not to use a local words. While I am going to present my paper, like local word from Solapur, the local word is pervadable. Right, that is a Solapur word. So pervadable don't know about that word pervadable. If the person reading from USA, he reads that word pervadable, so you don't understand what is the meaning of pervadable, right? So while writing the paper, we don't use that local languages while we are going to present it, right? So I must use the word choice, proper word choice must be there. And lastly, wherever it is necessary, we require to cite that word. So number of terms are there. If I am going to use IoT, so number of papers are there. So I must give the credit to that person who is going to start or who is going to present that work. So that citation is important in the form of in the any paper. So while rewriting, I must that is while revising, I must go through this step. Once we can find that yes, these are the lacunas in my paper, I will complete my lacunas, I will improve that lacunas, and then again write my paper. I will start with the first step again, that is write the paper again. So I will write the paper. After writing, then again check whether it is proper or not. If it is a proper, then and then only we are going to submit to the any journal or any conference. So that is these are the steps while writing the paper we must follow. The first step, pre-writing. Second step, writing. Means whatever I think that will be presented in the form of writing. Whatever I have written, that will be revised by myself or different steps, different mistakes. Once I can improvise that mistakes, I completely remove that mistakes. Then whatever the paper was created by myself or whatever the paper will be created by myself, that paper is a nice one paper. Definitely, it is a ready paper for submit. So again, it goes for the reviews and other terms are there. So the different ways. So generally, any research paper contents are. So generally, it is we are going to speak about the research paper contents. It is started with abstract. The title is there. Then secondly, affiliation, author affiliations are there. Then next one, the first step of our paper is abstract. So second step, keywords or we can call it as index terms. Next one is the introduction or background. The required terms are. Then literature review. Then methodology. Then results and discussion. Conclusion, references. After conclusion, some papers will be, some journals will be required. The abbreviations, the conflict, the funding agencies. If you are having any funding agencies, these are required. So we can add after the conclusion. These are terms we can add after the conclusion, but it is as per the requirement of the journal. We are not going to say that that is the compulsory contents of any paper. So the first step of our paper is an abstract. So abstract is nothing but it is the heart of our paper. Right? It is the heart of our paper. Doctor is going to check my nadi, right? He is going to check my that pulse. Depends upon that. He says that yes, you are having some problem, you are having some heart problem, you are having some urine problem, or you are having some temperature, you are having some thirst, right? After finding it, or whether he is going to diagnose body part का बराबर और बॉडी निकालते नहीं है अपनी बॉडी ओपन नहीं करते या आपका हार्ट का प्रॉब्लम तो बीपी के बाद चेक करते बीपी से चेक करते है क्या नहीं है या फिर ईसीजी निकालते ईईजी निकालते राइट दिस इज द रिक्वायर्ड मींस if they can observe that depends upon that the doctor says that yes he is having that disease. So similarly when we are reading when we read that abstract we can find that what is the quality of the paper, what are the contents inside the paper. So that abstract will be the heart of any paper. It is the heart of any paper. So abstract is, we can call it as a summary of my entire paper. The paper word size becomes near about 10,000 word size. But abstract word size becomes 150 to 200. So maximum 200 words are there for abstract. So in 200 words, whatever we have written in the 10,000 words, we require to summarize that in the 250 or 150 or 200 words. So it is the summary of my entire paper. Once I read that abstract, yes, I am getting whatever the contents explained by the author in the entire paper. That is meaning of abstract. Then it is the highlight key contents of the paper. So what the paper will be explained. The key contents of the paper are being highlighted in the abstract. The next one is self-explanatory. Abstract becomes must be a self-explanatory. We does not require to read entire paper as earlier told that when I read the abstract, I must get whatever the contents explained in the paper. So itself abstract will be defined what are the contents are there in entire paper. So abstract will be defined better. Then next one is no citations. Generally, what we have done, many of the other, I find that they have given the citation in the abstract. So abstract does not contain any citation in the square bracket or author names is required in the abstract. So we does not require to cite any contents in the abstract. Similarly, abstract size becomes one paragraph, single paragraph. Generally, what authors do, they have done that number of paragraphs, two paragraphs or three paragraphs have to be represented in their abstract. So abstract does not require paragraphs. Abstract must require a single paragraph having a word size of 150 to 200 words. I find that some authors have written the number of words in the abstract becomes 20, 30. 2 lines or 3 lines are there in the abstract. So 2 lines or 3 lines cannot explain my entire work. Whatever I had explained my work in that paper, these 3 lines cannot be. I'm going to say that it is okay for my representation of the work. So the length must be up to the 250. Some journal required 250. Some journal required it is a 150 to 200 words. Then next one is what are the contents must be required in the abstract. So in abstract the contents are firstly I will start with the background of that. I am going to say that if the background is a bigger words, I does not require. I just require a single that statement of background in abstract. Then aim. What is my aim? Already title was there, but that title must be elaborated in a single line. That is for if I am going to perform the operation on adder based optical operational amplifier. That is operational amplifier as an adder. If I am going to say that, that is my title. I am not going to say that my aim is there. My aim is that I must study the frequency analysis. I must study the input or output relation. That is my aim. Input output relation between adder for the operational amplifier. That is my aim. I am just going to say that my title is operational amplifier as an adder. That is not my aim. Aim is different. So title and aim will becomes somewhat elaborated terms are there. So the aim is there in case of my aspect. Then problem statement. I had done some literature survey. So depends upon that I find some problems. So the problem statement was there. What I am going to do, what I am going to explain in that paper. I am not going to say that generalized one was there. So we are going to say that already whatever we require to do, that must be a for as a problem statement. What I am going to do, what I am going to perform on my data. So that is the required in case of problem statement. In abstract, we require to define that term problem statement. So the next one is the methodology. What is the methodology? I'm not going to explain my entire methodology, but the important term. Like suppose I'm going to use the case approach. Case approach means I'm going to use AI-driven IoT based decision system. So that is my methodology. So methodology was there. I require to explain methodology in the abstract. Just a single line is required. Then application for future work. So some applications, I'm not going to say that it is used in the industry, it is used in the agriculture field, it is used in the dairy industry, it is used here, it is used there. I'm not going to say. What is the future? Yes, after case approach, is any approach we are going to say that? I'm going to say that in case approach, I'm going to use ANM, digital, that is the DT, that is distillery, and I'm going to use KNM. But beside of that, somebody will say that instead of this, if I'm going to use SVM, whether I am going to use the random forest, yes, these techniques are going to be called as the future techniques for my work. So the future applications we are going to mention in case of abstract. So whatever the contents are there in the abstract, that is the background, aim, problem statement, methodology, then application work, my results and conclusion, that is my results, some part of result is to be there. I'm not going to say that my entire result, I'm going to say that my result of that work gives me a 90% result, 80% result, so that must be represent in the my abstract. So that is the first term, abstract. So we can call it as art. The next one is a keywords, or some journals are called it as a index term. So keywords, the words which are repeatedly many times, or we are going to say that these are the important keys or important terms or important word in my entire work. For example, I am going to say that IoT in healthcare. That is my generalized topic. Suppose that. So IoT becomes one keyword. Healthcare application, yes, healthcare is another keyword. So keywords are whatever the terms it is repeated in my entire paper. These are the keywords. So these are called as the keywords. So important terms used in paper, which will be described by work. That is the first one. Then important for searching the peoples. If I'm going to search for IoT, then how the Google will be find that I'm going to search for IoT and it gives me the IoT contents. Then you will search that keyword contents. If any paper does not label as IoT healthcare, they just represent that healthcare applications, that is kidney based or a kidney application in a healthcare. They are not going to mention IoT, but in a keywords they are mentioning IoT. Then that paper is definitely available for me for reading on the Google. So for searching the peoples, we're going to say that keyword is important aspect. Then next one is every keyword. As some people are saying that keywords are separated by comma, some people are going to say that keywords are separated by semicolon. So somebody says that in a keywords every word becomes capitalized. Somebody says that the first word of the keywords becomes capitalized. Somebody says that the last end, that is the seventh keyword was there in my paper, if it is there, then that must be ended with a full stop. So as per the requirement, we require to adjust the keywords. So generalize the term is that either we can separate by comma or we can separate by semicolon. So depends upon the requirement of the journal. So semicolon was there. Some journal will say that we can end with a full stop. Maximum keywords, generally what we have observed that keywords are 2 or 3 keywords are given by the authors. So maximum keywords, minimum keywords required are 5. Maximum keywords are goes to the 6, 7 or up to the 9. But 5 to 7, yes, it is acceptable for every journal. for SCI, for Lucas, or anywhere, the maximum 5 to 7 are allowed for acceptance. If number of keywords are less, then they will send you the revision that you are having less keywords, so we require to improve the keywords. Then there are two types of keywords. The keywords are, we are going to say that bad keywords. If I am going to use AI, right? If I am going to use AI, and I am just mention it is a AI as a keyword. I am going to use a microcontroller. I am going to mention microcontroller as a keyword. So these are the bad keywords because we are not going to use AI. In the AI, the number of terms are there. Whether I am going to use SVM, support exclamation, whether I am going to use KNM, whether I am going to use the random forest, whether I am going to use the that is the decision tree, which method I am going to use, that must be required to be present. AI is not a generalized keyword. In the AI is not a keyword. We can call AI as a bad keyword. If I am going to say that microcontroller is a keyword, then microcontroller is again called as a bad keyword. Bad keyword why? Because microcontroller, which type of microcontroller I am going to use? Whether it is a 16-bit, whether it is 8-bit microcontroller, or whether I am going to use another microcontroller. So microcontroller is also called as a bad keyword. That is a weak keyword. So whether I am going to go with the poor keywords. So poor keywords are AI, I am going to specifically use AI, ML, microprocessors, right? These are called as a poor keywords. And next one is, it is called as a better keywords or best keywords. Instead of calling AI, if I am going to call it as ANM, my title is there, AI based system was there, but instead of AI, I am going to use inside my paper, ANS becomes used, whether I am going to use SPM inside the paper, right? So that must be required to be represented properly in the keywords. So I must represent it by ANN, I must represent it by SPM. Then suppose I am going to use the microcontroller. Instead of that microcontroller, if I am going to represent it by add mega, yes, add mega is one microcontroller. Which microcontroller I am going to use? Yes, add mega is there. So that are the better keywords in our representation. So keywords are also required. Then introduction. So introduction, we require to target number of audience. So number of readers. So introduction will attract the readers. Introduction of the paper will attract the readers. Right. So sir is given my introduction. So because of that, the different impact was there on your mind. Yes, sir is presenting this number of papers, is publishing number of patents. Right. So different impact was there. Depends upon that. On which concept or on which basis your impact becomes differentiated. The impact is differentiated depends upon introduction. If person's introduction is better, good, yes, it will be impactful. Similarly, if my paper contents are good, how you can find it is a good, then it will be depends upon my introduction. So introduction will be define the impact. It will be more impactful. If suppose my paper was I'm going to work on AI, I'm going to use work AI for building data monitoring, I'm going to use the topic. Suppose my topic is there AI in the building data monitoring. I work a lot on that. I get number of results. I get when the crack will occur in this work. I find everything else. But in introduction, I am not going to say anything else. In introduction, I am going to say that the building is for residence, building is for that, building is for this. If I want to represent that, then while readers are going to read that paper, they find that he is just going to write the essay. So he is not going to present a paper. He is not going to write a paper properly. So introduction is also important. Introduction plays the important role for the readers, not for the writer. Writer can write, but introduction is important for the reader side. Then, what are the contents required in the introduction? The introduction must be relevant. It must be. We are not going to call it as we can write anything else in the introduction. Your introduction must be relevant to your title. Whatever the title you have mentioned, so that title must be a relevant. That title must be a reflect in your introduction. So it must be relevant, must be there. Then secondly, either we are going to start my introduction with the definitions, or I will start with some already presented reports. Suppose I am going to work on COVID-19 data. So I must write about the whatever the group that is when the health organization gives the report, I must represent that. That will be create one impact on the persons. Whatever the readers are there, that impact was created on the readers. If I am going to say that I am going to work on BP patients, so BP patient I define the BP, no problem is there. We can define that BP state. But what WHO says about the BP patient, if we can add it is as a first paragraph, then it is a more effective. Means whatever the work I'm going to present, that work must be having some proper background. Some reports are there. If I'm going to say about the security, then some government organizations must be having some reports. We can add that report. We can specifically define that report. So reports are important. Like that is WHO report or some security human resource departments reports. Right, so reports are to be important while defining about my introduction. Then next one is explain the all terms available in the title. So whatever the title is there, so I have defined the title. So that each term available in the title must be explained in my introduction. Suppose I am going to say that I am working on AI-driven IoT for building healthcare monitoring. Right, my topic is there AI-driven IoT for building healthcare monitoring. I am going to explain about the building. I am going to explain about IoT. I am going to explain about AI. It is not sufficient because AI is a different topic, IoT is a different topic, building health is a different topic. I require to explain again one term that is called as AI-driven IoT. That is AI IoT. I require to define that term. So every term whatever I have defined in my title or whatever the term I am going to use in my title, I must be explain about each term in the introduction. So it will give me the brief introduction about my title. So that title is briefly explained by me in the introduction. Try to explain in this introduction. Also try to explain whatever the previous researches are available. Suppose IoT security was there, so previous researches are there that in IoT security, ANN was there, ANN based IoT security is there. So I must try to implement, I try to add that in the my introduction section. So sometimes we are not going to add literature survey because of the requirement of the journal or because of the unavailability of number of pages. So we require to skip that portion. So we require to add some basic or some information about the researcher who is going to present that work. So we can add what the previous researcher says about that topic. So we can call it, we are not going to call it as literature survey. What he is going to say, we just write on this. So literature survey is a different term, and what he is going to speak about, that is the different term. So we can add the previous research. Then in the introduction, we are going to cite whatever the references we are going to use. All the references we require to cite in that. The citations are either we can represent in the terms of square bracket or by giving the names of that particular author. So these are the citations. Try to cite each and every paragraph because what we have seen generally that once we are going to start to cite, the first paragraph is cited as 1 to 10 references. After that, 4 to 5 paragraphs are there. We are not going to cite anything else. And last paragraph is cited as 10 to 20 people. That is 20 to 20. Means in between whatever it is written by myself itself. Right? Means I am not going to refer that terms. Because we are not going to create, we are not going to create these words. We are collected these words from somebody else, some publications. So we must cite that. We must give the credit for that. So whatever we have to use, we give the credit to the each author by citing that particular paragraph, citing the word. Every paragraph or every important word, whatever you think, it must be cited. Literature survey, as I told, number of journals does not depend on the literature survey. They does not want literature survey. Similarly, if number of pages a requirement is less, as I told, 6 pages are there. For Taylor Crisis conference was there in Chennai. So he says that number of 6 pages are there. So I am not going to use in that case literature survey. So we are not going with that literature survey. So journals does not interest. So review properties related to your topic. I'm going to review, as I already told, I'm going to work on AI driven IoT for building ethical monitoring. Right? If I'm going to use that topic, then I must have relate or I must have survey these are related topics, building healthcare related topics, AI driven related topics. I'm not going to add here the Internet of Robotic Things applications, that is the IoRT's papers, because IoRT is not related to my topic. My topic is AI driven IoT. Then why I'm going to use IoRT? Right? I'm not going to use this. So relate only the related topics only. Like I'm going to use the healthcare, right? Building healthcare. Yes, building healthcare is there. I'm not going to use that BP patients data. I'm not going to use the that health of the agriculture field. I'm not going to add there because it is not a related, right? What is a related? Yes, building healthcare related. Then buildings monitoring by means of IoT, by means of AI, or by means of some physical methods. So we can add the related topics in that literature survey. Instead of speaking about yes, I'm not going to find any topic. If you are not going to find any topic, don't write any literature survey. If we are going to say that my topic was there, already I had written one paper. That topic's name is called as AI-based love representation system, love representation system to the loved ones. That topic is new. That topic is completely out of the world. Right? We are not going to think about that. Right? IoT based love representation system to the loved ones. That is my topic. Already that paper was already submitted. It is accepted by IGI Global. Similarly, it is accepted by one Scopus Index conference. So it will be published in the month of December. This is that. But we are not going to say that. We are not finding anything else about the love related. And IoT in the love related it is different one. So we don't think about that. Similarly, one topic was that already I had published one topic and submitted in one conference that is called as palmistry. We don't think about the palmistry and our engineering field, right? So my topic was ML based palmistry learning. So machine learning based palmistry learning. So I use here the machine learning to read my path. So what is the important? I must require to know what is the important line in my path. Whether the papers are available on this palmistry based machine learning, whether any paper is available related to the palmistry, whether any paper is related to represent the law. No, we can, although we are finding, it will be found in the literature. That is, in case of sociology or psychology, these papers will be available about the law. But we are not going to say that engineering papers will be available. So in such cases, if no literature will be available, no literature is available related to your topic, don't go in literature survey because it shows that you are going to make your paper research big. Palmistry reading, no papers are available. Why I should add there some literature survey? Love related paper in IoT based system, I'm not going to find any paper. So why I should add that literature survey? So I'm not going to add such paper in such papers. I'm not going to add some literature survey. So the literature survey must be having some parts. What are the requirement of the literature survey? I must say that in the XYZ authors, what is required? Please use that methodology. Please use that methodology. After that methodology, he finds that conclusion. He finds that result. So that is the required terms in a literature survey. So in the literature survey, the terms required are while reviewing, it is required that what is the method suggested by the author. What are the results or conclusion suggested by that author. Then what is the future work he suggests. Whether it is useful for you, from that we can say that that is my problem statement or that is my literature gap. But beside of that, we can add these contents in my literature survey. While surveying, we must take care about these three terms. Then in literature survey, generally we start with that that method is available in 2021. We forget the method about whether it will be available in 1971. We don't know about that method. What we are going to say that my methodology, whatever the literature survey was there, that paper is published in 2021 or 2023. Generally, we start to survey from whatever the basic paper is available. Like 1971, whether the paper is available, yes, we can start with that. We start with that author literature survey. So start with that literature, come to the recent survey. So that is the one better step for surveying my paper. And lastly, after completion of my entire survey, I must write one statement. We can call this as a problem statement or my aims statement. So what I had studied from that literature survey and what I am getting from literature survey. That is, we can call it as a literature gap and problem statement creation. So we can write about that single paragraph for the problem statement and the literature gap. So that is the literature survey contents required. Then next part is methodology. So what I am going to use, what I am going to present, that is called as a methodology. As already I told that I am going to explain the paper about palm history reading by using machine learning. So palm history reading, what I am going to use, what I am going to use in that. So I must require to be clarified in the methodology. So every methodology must be clear. What I am going to require to speak about, that must be getting by somebody else. If suppose I want to say that I have worked on the palmistry, and suppose sir want to work on that palmistry, then he must require to know which type of method I am going to use, which type of detectors I am going to use, which type of that morphological operations I am going to use. Sir must be required to know. If I am not going to say anything else about that, I am just going to say the vague terms, then sir is not going to identify what is I want to speak, and he cannot work on that. So we require that it must be too much clear. That methodology must be too clear. Then एवढे detail right? We are not going to give more details. Like I'm going to use that method. I'm going to use this method to create the database. I'm going to use that one for creating the database because all mystery no databases are available. We require to create the database itself. So we don't give much more details about your work. Try to we are going to say that teacher is not giving 100% what he knows generally, right? Whatever the teachers are there, teachers are not going to give the 100% information to the student. They will keep some information with them. So similarly, we are not giving more details in the methodology. Try to use pictorial representations in the methodology. Pictorial representation means block diagram representations, or some where would you say that some hardware structure is there, some diagrams are there. Try to use more in that methodology. What we are going to do, generally in case of methodology, we can write the advantages, limitations, applications, then some challenges. We are going to add, we are going to try to add in the methodology. So methodology does not require expect disadvantages, advantages, limitations, challenges, applications. These terms are not required in case of methodology. So don't write these terms in methodology. So generally what we are going to say, my methodology terms is it will be goes to the 4 to 5 words, 4 to 5 lines. One paragraph is there for methodology. So I require to improve my methodology. So what I am going to use? I am going to add the advantages, disadvantages, limitations. So these are not the part of methodology. Advantages, disadvantages, applications are not the part of your methodology. So methodology means what you are going to do. You require to explain that. Advantages, you are going to see that. These are the advantages of your system. That is your part. No. Okay. So very important to avoid these terms while explaining about my methodology. Then next one is try to avoid the terms which are already explained in the introduction. Means in a methodology, I am not going to say that the report is given by that World Health Organization. Right? I am not going to write down this because already I have explained in the introduction term. So I does not require to repeat this term whatever is explained in the introduction. So trying to avoid the repetition of this contents from introduction to the methodology. So methodology becomes clear-cut information about your work, what you have done, what you require to be do. That must be a clear-cut identifier. That is clear idea of your work. Methodology. Last part of your paper, that is the important part of your paper, that results and discussions. Many journals or many papers does not have any results. They just write the conclusion after the methodology. We can find the number of papers I find from simple peer review journals. They have just explained the methodology, after that advantage, disadvantage, and go to direct conclusion. So this is not a requirement. although I am going to write a paper related to the survey paper or a review paper, although review paper is there, I must write some discussion. Without discussion, my paper does not be end. So I must write discussion in the paper. So discussion is required. Results, yes, I have done some experimentation work. I have done some work with my database. Then there must be some results. So we require to add results and discussion in my paper. So that will explain what I have done, and after that work, what I get the results. Right? So I told that I'm working on the palmistry. So what the result I'm getting? After that morphological operation, what is the result I'm getting? Already I told I'm going to use the morphological operation. But what are the result I'm getting here? I must represent that. Not just a saying I'm going to use, I must say that I got that result with that method. So that must be explained in the results and discussion. So we require to define why we can did that methodology and what I get. So it must be a result. Then discuss about the main finding of your research. Don't explain or don't give the more details about like after that work we get this one, we get this one, we get this one. Instead of that, just write and then write down this after that I get that one. Right? Don't get this text. In case of my palmistry, I'm not going to say that I'm getting the feature extraction, I'm going to improve the quality of that is enhance the quality of my image. I don't say that. After that work, I'm getting that result. So that is the expected. Don't use the more details about what you have done and what you are getting. Right? So that is main finding. Just the main findings you got to explain in the your results. What are the main findings are there? The next one, provide the significance of findings. Means every image, after that image we can write down that figure 1 is represent that result. But what are the significance of that figure 1? You have to explain that. Means we can get the discussion about that particular image. So significance must be provided after your work in a discussion field defines what your work means. What your work means, it will be defined by the discussion. Many times we are going to write just the result. We are not going to write about the discussion. We forget about writing the discussion. We don't write the discussion. What is meaning of discussion? We don't know. The reason was, sir, आपने किसी पेपर में result discussion mention नहीं किया. Just it will be mentioned that yes, there is a result only. Right? But discussion is important part of your work. So discussion what is required, it will be defined what your work means. What is your work means, it must be required in terms of discussion. So I'm going to work a lot. I'm just going to represent my images. But instead of that, I'm not going to speak about what I'm getting, how I'm getting. So if I'm not going to represent that, so my discussion is completely failed. Right? Suppose I'm going to explain here the that topic, paper writing. Right? But I'm not going to discuss something with you. So it is not, it is anyway. So it is required that after completion of this topic, I must discuss with you about the research and research paper writing. So the discussion is important after the end of my work. And last one, it is also contains the limitations of your work. Discussion must contain what are the limitations of my work. Then it must contain what you require to recommend for the others. Suppose I want to say that I am going to machine learning. I am going to recommend to the other ones is that instead of machine learning, you can use that XY method. So recommendation must be there from my side for future experimentation. So that will be given in the results and discussion. Next time, the last part of my paper is the conclusion. Although it is the last part, but beside of that, the main part is called as the references. So conclusion becomes summarize your work. Try to avoid the repetition from abstract and conclusion. Generally, what we are going to do, we can copy the conclusion based in the abstract, or copy the abstract based in the conclusion. So try to avoid that. So although it is a summary, abstract is also summary. Both are the summaries, but representation are different. There it requires background, there it requires your aim, there it requires your problem statement. Here we require to avoid that completely. We does not replicate the abstract in the conclusion. Try to avoid that. Then readers align with to your work. So reader must be aligned with your work, whatever you work on that. Call for actions, and lastly, future scope. You must have mentioned the future scope in your conclusion, your visualize. Similarly, in the call for action means you what yeah, I'm going to use that SVF. I'm going to suppose I'm going to say that I have used the KSP approach. So in KSP approach, for ANN, I'm getting that one result. For a digital, that is the DT, I'm going to use that method DT. I get that result. And for KNN, I got that result. So I must represent that one, that is for actions. I must represent with ANN, I'm getting this result. My accuracy is that one. My F score is that one. My recall is that one. My precision is that one. I must specifically represent in the call for action. That is the conclusion. Last part is references. So references, it is called as citations. You can call it as citations. So it is important for every paper. So try to add the references. Generally, what we have seen, generally academicians are trying to add the references as www.google.com, www.wikipedia.com. So these are the citations written by some academician. Also, we can find that, but this is not the way to represent the citations. So citation means from where, what is the source of your that particular information, like some paper was there, some blog was there, something you are going to find on the net. So that must be written. So how we can write? We can write in the particular specific way. The way is, I'll start with my author name, then the year of publication of that particular blog or particular paper, then year of publication, then the title of that publication, means the title of that paper, and nextly where it will be published. That is called as a source. Means it will be published on online available, that as a blog, or it is published with IEEE, whether it is a published with any journal, so that is the source. So you can write the journal's name. After that journal name, if it is a published in journal or if it is a published in a conference, must write it is as what is the volume number of that journal and what is the issue of that journal. If we are not going to find, if the some papers, the some journals are, we can call it as a not available online. That is, we can call it as open sources are not available. They are paid journals. So in that case, we are not going to available the page number for that particular paper. So try to skip that page number content. So don't write the page numbers in that cases. So must we follow the particular pattern for references. The pattern is start with author name, then year of publication, then title, then source of that that is journal of that journal, volume number, and issue of that particular information paper. So example was, so that IGI Global paper was I have published that paper. It is modulation and simulation of electrical vehicle based performance. That is UV paper is there. So that was author name. Then here the entire name up to the ecosystem. That is the title of my paper. After that, it is a publisher in which IGI Global book. So it will be published as IGI Global book chapter. Then it's a DOI number. Yes, I am not from IGI for IGI Global. We are not finding any volume number or any issue number. We just find the DOI. So I give the DOI, and similarly at last, if possible, add the link of that your paper. So I add the link. So that is the style to write the references. Suppose I am going to use 20 references in my paper. That is in the reference section. But I cited only 10. Means whatever the 10 papers are remaining, they are not going to fail. Means we are not going to say that they are not going to consider. But we are not going to give the credit to these 10 persons. Citation as such, citations means that we are going to give the credit to that particular author. If you are going to use my paper, that paper, you are going to mention it is as a 20 number paper, but when you are going to represent or when you are going to cite that, you are not cited anywhere else. Means you are just going to add my paper, but you are not giving the reference to my paper or importance to my paper. So it means that. So citation, you try to give the citation or importance for each paper whatever you are mentioned in the reference section. So thank you. Initials, okay, that is a part of our discussion. Now the main part is the discussion. So we start about the discussion now. So I started with how I looks like and conclusion it. Right. So that is just one example from my side. Just I'm getting what students call me, sir. What is my profile now? So he told me, so depends upon that. I get an idea how to present here. So I started with how I use them because the difference was there between you and me. That is, look was completely different from my side and your side. So I started with that. Any questions from your side? Yes, I will looking for that. If you have any questions, ask me related to the paper. Okay, also, I will add one thing is that paper and book chapter both are not different. Both are same. That is that reference is a book chapter's reference, but it is also paper. One paper is there. So you as a paper that you can write the paper. That paper is published as either paper, either conference paper, either journal paper, or either book chapter. So you have to publish that as per the requirement. But just the requirement for the book chapter is that minimum pages becomes 20 pages. That is the requirement.
आपने यहाँ तक किया तो कुछ लोग कॉपी पेस्ट कर देते हैं रिसर्च पेपर वो कंटेंट से होता है तो अभी इस दुनिया में बहुत से लोग रिसर्च करते हैं एक ही सब्जेक्ट के हजारों लोग तो उसकी रिसर्च पेपर भी हजारों लाखों में होते हैं तो हम उन पे रिसर्च करके भी कुछ नया ट्राई कर सकते हैं वो तो
Yes, definitely. जो पेपर्स ऑलरेडी पब्लिश है नंबर ऑफ वर्क इज ऑलवेज देयर यस इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप लोग उस पे काम नहीं कर सकते although it is a work where we say that research is nothing but creating a new but every time we are not going to create a new things right? My one teacher told me that research means whatever present we can rewrite it that is called as a research my one teacher told me that what is meaning of research means whatever present already. Suppose I have presented that work, but you are going to rewrite. So we can call this as a research of yours research. So you can write in your own language, yes, it is a research, but it is necessary that you are getting some results. If you are going to copy my content, suppose my contents are there related to you are from which branch? CSE. Okay, you are from CSE. I am going to say that cybersecurity is there, cryptography is there, right? But in cryptography, I am going to use some keys, cipher key is there. So if key is, I am going to say it is 64 words, bits of word size. Key size becomes 64 bits. Then you are going to say that yes, I am instead of 64, I am going to use 128 bits. So that is the result for your side. Although method is the same, but you are going to use the different one. Although I am going to say that 64 bits key cipher key is there, you are going to say that 64 key bits cipher key is there, but whatever the result I am getting, you are getting some different result. Yes, it is a result. It is a research. Results are some improvement. Yes, it is a result. My results of security becomes 90%, and your result of security becomes 90.1%. It is 1 point because it is improved. You can call this as a research.
रिक्वेस्ट लास्ट अभी मैं भी हम करता हूँ कुछ रिसर्च एआई तो अगर कुछ आपसे कुछ रिक्वेस्ट
Okay. Firstly, if I require to decide one topic, right, I'm going to work on AI, right? I'll read it. Also, I'm still now I'm working on AI, ML, IoT. That is my topics where I'm going to still working. So, while I'm going to say that I require to work on AI, I must know that what is the depth of AI. Initially, I must know about it. So, what are the different types of AIs are there? What is the depth of AI? What are the methodologies available in the AI? So, I must know that. Yes, I am going to say that I require to apply AI to my entire building, right? But I don't know what is the meaning of AI and which type of method I am going to apply to this building. So if I don't know, then I am not going to say that I work on AI. So it is necessary for everybody else that when I am going to say that I am working on this field, I must know everything in that field. Then and then only we can say yes, I am going to present my work in AI. In ML. जर मला ती गोष्ट माहीतच नसेल मला त्या गोष्टीबद्दल काही येतच नसेल तर मी म्हणणारच नाहीये की मी एआय मध्ये काम करतो. मी एआय मध्ये काम करतो, मी कधी म्हणणार आहे ज्यावेळेला मला एआय बद्दल माहित असेल. मला काहीच माहित नाही. फॉर एक्झाम्पल मी आता बोलतो सायबर सिक्युरिटी बद्दल बोलतो, मला सायबर सिक्युरिटी बद्दल काहीच माहित नाही. तर मला या गोष्टीबद्दल माहितच नाहीये, तरी पण मी सांगायचा प्रयत्न करतोय. तर याचा अर्थ असा नाही की मी रिसर्चर आहे, याचा अर्थ असा नाहीये, कारण की मला त्या गोष्टीबद्दल काहीच माहित नाही. म्हणजे मला सायबर सिक्युरिटी मध्ये रिसर्च करायचं असेल तर मला सायबर सिक्युरिटीच्या सगळ्या गोष्टी शिकाव्या लागतात. व्हॉट इज मिनिंग ऑफ क्रिप्टोग्राफी टू एन्क्रिप्शन, सगळ्या गोष्टी मला शिकाव्या लागतात. मग त्याच्यानंतर मी मग म्हणू शकेन की त्याच्यामध्ये काम करू शकतो. यामध्ये तुम्हाला काम करायचं तर एआय आता क्लिअरली आयडेंटिफाय करा. मेथोडॉलॉजी काय, कोणते कोणते मेथड्स आहेत, तुम्ही कोणते अप्लाय करू शकता. असं नाही आहे की तुम्हाला सगळं माहित नाही, थोडंफार तर तुम्हाला टाकलं जाईल. Patent is also the concept of paper writing, because in patents we also require introduction, we require background, we require methodology in patents also. So paper is also required to the right, that is initially pre-work is required, while patent has the work. Any other? Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Sir.
Thank you, sir, for your first talk, and it is very informative and valuable. We are expecting your presence in our future activities.
Now I request our principal sir to present the certificate to the resource person of the session. Thank you, sir. Now we reach the end of the morning session. Thank you, Dr. Jayakar, once again, and thank you each and everyone to make this session successful. Now, lunch is arranged for all the participants at the end of the workshop, and afternoon session will be start at exactly 20.
Feedback form for the second work has been shared to the registered email ID. So we can give the feedback and that will be accounted as a. Thank you.
आनंद मुरंकर पास करना
Save the auto. After save.
Hello.
Stop करना बंद करना चालू करना
मैं पुश करत नाही